Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
What is up, Cavs fans? Welcome into another edition of the Block the Shot to Stop. Coming here on a Sunday morning with Skylar Webker. I am Kevin Lynch to talk about a quietly surging Cleveland Cavaliers team, Skylar.
Yeah, I mean, winners of 10 of their last 14 and slowly kind of climbing the standings a bit.
Yeah, and I think quietly is correct because it hasn't been overly impressive. Some of these games they were a slog. Some some of them they're winning 94-88. Others they're winning and scoring 137 points, but they're giving up 133. And so it hasn't been like knock your socks off impressive, but they are getting results.
Yeah, I mean, building a little bit of momentum, stacking up a few wins, and especially when you have a lot of key guys hurt right now, that's kind of a good recipe. It's a good thing to have. I think that a lot of other teams would relish to have that going on with their situations right now.
Yeah. And with the struggles of this season, like we should be taking wins any way we can get it. And and you know, again, winning 10 of 14 kind of through the beginning of that, through the tougher part of the schedule, leading into like the easier part of the schedule. And we'll highlight a little bit that they got, you know, even more of a window here between now and the All-Star break where the schedule has eased up some. But let's jump right in. And, you know, we're alluding to it, but the Cavs won the two games between now and our last podcast on Wednesday night. Starting with Friday night, they beat the Sacramento Kings 123-118. And then last night took care of the Orlando Magic in a pretty impressive showing, 119-105. We'll backtrack and talk about this Kings game first. This was a roller coaster of a game because the Cavs started out awesome. I think they were up 14, 16 points, like 5 minutes into the game, and you're like, they're going to run away from Sacramento. And then Sacramento comes right back and it's tied at the end of the first quarter. And then Sacramento held the lead for a good majority of the game until the Cavs started opening up in parts of the third quarter. So, you know, there's a few individual outstanding performance. There's a few interesting team stats from this game. Where do you want to start, Skylar?
I want to start with Evan Mobley, who quietly, along with the team ascending, is putting together kind of familiarity of what we've seen from Evan Mobley. His three-point shooting is absolutely atrocious, but his two-point field goal percentage is like best in the league. And the defense intensity that he's putting back on the ball now is incredible to see because in the last 5 games, Evan Mobley has 13 blocks. He's averaging about just under 3 blocks a game.
Yeah. He is playing very well despite the 3-point shooting. As you said, he's shooting 19% over his last 10 games, which basically stretches the month of January. Before that, he was at 37%. He was at 37% last year. So we're hoping this is more of a blip, but more importantly, he's finding other ways to contribute at a super high level. You mentioned his last 10 games, 66.3% from 2-pointers. That would put him at the very top of the league if that were for the season. But even at his last 20 games, he's at 63% on 2-point field goals. I feel like he's becoming so much more effective at getting to the rim, getting to his spots, you know, working off of whether it's a pick and roll or a short roll. And more importantly, he's shooting a lot more 2-pointers than 3-pointers, which has allowed him to be effective despite his jump shot kind of leaving him lately.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it for a good portion of the season. It seems like this Cavs team was afraid to drive to the hole or get inside the paint, and they've really flipped that switch. They've balanced out their attempts, 3-point attempts are way down from where they were. I think they were a league leading like 44 a game. They're now sitting pretty average, about 35 3 points a game is where they've been sitting this past couple of weeks. I think that's the right call, especially when you don't have your best 3-point shooters on the floor in Sam Merrill and Darius Garland.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Going back to the Sacramento game and Mobley, I should have gave the numbers. This was potentially his most complete performance of the year. 29 points on 13 of 24 shooting, 13 rebounds, tied for second most in a game this year for him, and then 7 assists to go along with the defense that you talked about. 4 blocks, just seemed to be all over the place, especially the first 3 quarters of the game. Fourth quarter, they stopped feeding the ball a little bit, which is a little frustrating to me. But otherwise, I thought Evan looked, as good as he has all year, especially when you're talking about like a complete game performance.
Yeah, and that's what we said last year, that we need to see more from Evan Mobley, more complete games where you feel his presence from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. And like you said, there's some scheming around it also that makes it a little more ineffective in the fourth quarter, but you're starting to see more consistent impact of Evan Mobley when he's on the floor. It's no longer, wow, he had a great first half and then didn't even get a shot attempt in the second half, or he is invisible in the second half. So I think we're starting, and hopefully we're starting to see that balance of utilization for him.
I agree. And I do think, and this Kings game is an example that there's times that it seems like it's either Evan or Jared Allen that's having a good game and the other one kind of disappears. They're starting to stack more games where both of them play well, both together for the duration of the game. In this game, Jared, 15 points, 9 assists, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. I thought he was excellent. I think I meant to look this up. I have it right here. I think he drew 9 fouls. 9 fouls. That's more than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Jalen Brunson average drawing in a game. That's how many fouls. That's how, to me, that tells you how active Jared Allen is, like on the boards, getting people to foul him, like putting pressure on the rim. He only ended up with six shot attempts because he was getting fouled every time he was trying to go to the basket, which is a good thing because Jared's actually a very good free throw shooter for a big guy. So love to see not only Mobley playing so well, but having it be in concert with Jared starting to make more high-level, consistent contributions.
Yeah, and on this Kings game, I know we want to get to the little more impressive Orlando game, but on the Kings game, I find it really inspiring that all of the Kings starters are negative, almost double-digit negatives in their plus-minus. So they really took care of business against the starters. It was the bench unit that got in and really made an impact for the Kings. But all in all, a win's a win, man. As long as you're stacking wins, I don't care how you get them.
I completely agree. I will say, caveat, the Kings brought Dennis Schroeder, Domantas Sabonis, and Zach LaVine off the bench for some reason. None of those 3 start. So just, I don't know, classic like goofy Kings to have some of their most talented players coming off the bench, which may attribute for some of that plus minus differential that you talked about. We would be remiss if before we move on, we didn't talk about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan had a couple of bad games for him leading up to this. The game against Charlotte, the game against the Thunder, really struggled offensively, gets right back on track in this one. Not his most efficient shooting wise. I mean, 11 for 25, but he did end up with 33 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. And I thought he was just really good. And most importantly, seemed to make a lot of the big plays in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and we talked about how you don't really want Donovan Mitchell to be your one. He's not a very good distributor and ball handler. So have 8 assists and 1 turnover. Love to see that ratio.
Yeah, no, very, very good call out. Any other individual performances or stats that you thought really stood out from this Kings game?
I'll put out there, just because I know you're the president of the fan club, but Dean Wade putting in absolute maximum effort both in this game and in Orlando. He led the team in plus minus in this Kings game, and I'm pretty sure he led it in this Orlando game as well.
Yeah, I actually caught Kenny's press conference last night after the Orlando game, and he called Dean the ultimate glue guy. When he was extremely complimentary of Dean's performance on this back-to-back. The one thing I think of note is the real difference in this game was the third quarter. The Cavs throughout this year have been really inconsistent, for portions of the game. Like we highlighted maybe 2 weeks ago, they were the worst second quarter team in the league. Well, they've moved out of the basement of that up. They've kind of corrected that, but while they're correcting it, they seem to really struggle in the third quarters. Well, in this game, they outscore the Kings by 12 in the third quarter. They hold a 16-9 rebounding advantage. They shot like 57%, and really kind of that made the difference in the game there in the third quarter. Coming out of halftime, they were actually down at halftime by I think 4, and it's really what separated them in the outcome of this game.
Yeah, and that's good to see that the Cavs are able to put consistent quarters together, and honestly, 2 kind of consistent games as we turn the page here to Orlando.
Sure, and let's do that. As I mentioned at the top, Cavs beat Orlando on the latter half of a back-to-back, 119-105. This is one of those brutal back-to-backs where they don't get in until 3:30 in the morning. Donovan Mitchell was saying he didn't get to sleep till almost 5 a.m. And then they're shorthanded. They're already without Garland, Strus, Merrill. Everyone knows that. And then find out DeAndre Hunter is not going to play, which shortens their rotation even more. And they get absolutely huge performances from up and down the roster, the guys that played. Even Lonzo Ball, who I at least will briefly mention at the top. 6 points, 8 rebounds on 2 of 4 shooting, 2 assists. Potentially his best
3
game
steals.
ever as a Cav. Yeah, potentially his best game ever as a Cav. And not to bury the lead, but like if you look at up and down the roster, even Craig Porter Jr., Naquan Tomlin, Jaylon Tyson, I think they combined for 30 points in the first half when the game was tight. And then Donovan Mitchell with frankly an even better game than against the Kings, 36 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. This game, he had 17 points in the fourth quarter. Mitchell was incredible.
I think this is the Cavs, or should be like the Cavs recipe. Like, do well the first 3 quarters, stay in the lead, even if you keep it close, like stay ahead, and then just let Donovan Mitchell close it out. Because watching Donovan Mitchell in that fourth quarter was just magical. Like every shot was going in. He had all the tricks in his bag. For a little bit, him and Paolo were going back and forth, but there's one possession where Paolo's guarding Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan gives him the high crossover, and Paolo doesn't even know where the ball is anymore. The high gather step. It was so good to watch, and that feels like something the Cavs could keep consistent. Is everybody contribute and then let Donovan Mitchell just light the world on fire at the end.
I mean, it's a good theory, and to play devil's advocate. My only concern with that is I was actually looking at Mitchell's numbers and how, even despite how fantastic he was this weekend, there's a pretty stark drop off in his shooting percentages here the last like 10 games or so. Like the last 5 games, his field goal percentage is 40.6. That's down from over 48 for the season. On 2-pointers, he's only shooting 47%, shoots almost 58% for the season. And it really stands out in 3-pointers. In his last 10 games, he's only shooting 34%. Last 5 games, it's under 32%. This is coming off of her. He was above 40% for a 3-point shooter for most of the year. So as amazing as Donovan Mitchell is, like, looking at this tells me maybe he is human and maybe they are riding him to the point where he's showing a little bit of fatigue, because the first place fatigue shows up is on the jump shot.
Yeah, I would agree that there's a bit of fatigue and hard to, I mean, you can't discredit that for him. I mean, he's been the only person to really be healthy every single game this year. I know he had a couple rest games, but it really has been the Donovan Mitchell show from the opening night.
Yeah, I mean, he's now played in 43 of a possible 47 games. It's been a while since they rested him a game. I can't remember exactly when, but I think it was before the year, before the calendar turned. And that would, being honest, this was something I was looking at before the games this weekend when he really struggled in those Charlotte and Oklahoma City games. I'm like, is he wearing down a bit? Because between the load that they're putting on him, the fact that he's running point guard, the fact that the Cavs seem to never get 2 days off. They're playing every other night with an occasional back-to-back, it seems like. So, the best thing that could happen for the Cavs is that they can continue this momentum, continue this run, and get up the standings a little bit to the point where they're comfortable enough with their seed that they can lay off the gas on Mitchell a little bit as we get, to the latter part of the season, and make sure we don't completely wear him down before a hopeful playoff run.
I agree on that, but I also think, and we're starting to see it now, but I think you need others to step up so that you're not forced to put all this onto Donovan Mitchell. You're starting to see Evan Mobley step up. You're starting to see Jared Allen have consistent games. Jaylon Tyson's been a high contributor all year. So you're starting to get these other guys stepping up. So I do think you could probably take the foot off the gas a little bit from Donovan Mitchell, especially looking ahead at the schedule. From now until the All-Star break, they really face, I would say, 2 playoff teams, but one being the Lakers, the other one being Denver, and the Denver is questionable if they have Jokic.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But like, more so, if Donovan Mitchell continues to play anything like he did in the 2 games this weekend, then I'll shut up and say there's no reason to. I just, like, it is a pretty stark decline in his jump shooting right now that, like, kind of made me speculate about his potential fatigue, how fit he is right now. The other guy I know we wanted to highlight was Jaylon Tyson. I mean, this guy continues to plow through any ceiling that we put on him. Like his last 5 games, he's averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 49% from 3 points, from 3-point land, 53% overall. Combine that with his usual fantastic defense, hustle plays, winning plays. I don't know what more you say about him. And the thing about Jaylon Tyson is, for everyone who says, like, wait till the Cavs have been healthy, you can't judge them. Like, they've had injuries, like, kind of making excuses for their record. The fact that they found Jaylon Tyson and turned him into one of the best role players, and maybe graduating out of role player label in this league, is such a win and such an upset that, to me, it lessens the validity of the excuses around the injuries, because this guy is so far more than any of us could have realistically hoped he would be. And on top of that, continues to get better, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic just because it's the 10-year anniversary of the championship team and everything like that. But his hustle reminds me so much of Delhi. Like, imagine Delhi with actual shooting and results. Like that's what we're, like, seeing is a guy that has just that Tasmanian devil kind of hustle that can also shoot and defend and everything on top of that. So and he's not a finished product to what you said. He's still getting better. So I have such high hopes that Jaylon Tyson kind of is the next cog of this Cavs team, or next core piece of this Cavs team, because he's showing that he can be that for us.
Yeah, Delhi is not where I thought you were going to go. When you started talking the 26 NBA Finals team, I was like, oh yeah, he's kind of a Richard Jefferson comp. Like they're the same. They're the same size. You know, by the time Jefferson came to the Cavs, he wasn't his crazy athletic freak self that he was when he was younger. And had turned himself into a pretty good jump shooter. And so actually kind of saw a comp there, but like Tyson in this game, it just ho-hum 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, you know, on 5 of 9 shooting. And again, all over the place defensively. I thought he you know, jumps back and forth between guarding everybody, guarding Paolo, guarding Desmond Bane, guarding Anthony Black when he got hot. He's like kind of their de facto defensive stopper on top of these like fantastic offensive contributions that he continues to make.
Yeah, the main person he was guarding was Suggs most of this game. And then, like you said, he would get called on to whoever's hot. But hell, Jalen Suggs just 9 points. Granted, not a ton of shooting, but -17 really stopped Suggs from being a contributor on this. And then, like I said, moved on to Black whenever Black got hot, moved on to Bane whenever Bane was shooting, just raining down threes. So that, okay, I guess only 2 threes, but it felt like way more.
Yeah. And this was a game they were disciplined with the offensive approach that has worked best for them. And that is rim pressure. And right now, the best rim pressure they have is through their big guys, through Mobley and Allen, you know, setting those guys up. They only took 34 3-pointers, hit 15 of them. That's fantastic. If you can get that 15 to 34 every game, I think that's right around the perfect amount for them. And then they shoot 60% on twos. And a lot of that is led, you know, obviously Donovan Mitchell took a lot of the scoring burden in this game, but up and down the box score, you can see almost everyone's like very, very efficient. They, you know, the Magic are a really good rebounding team. They were +1 in rebounding. They just did a lot of things right. They even hit free throws at an 82% clip. This is just the offensive game plan that works best for this team, no matter who's in the lineup, is pressure on the rim, take your opportunities from 3, but don't become overly reliant on it. And, you know, hopefully hit your free throws, which has not been the case all year. But yeah, I just thought, you know, 119 points, that's about their average. But I just thought the efficiency in their offensive approach this game was fantastic.
I want to put a call out there that Tyrese Proctor should be playing more.
Okay.
I mean, every time he's on the floor, I mean, he's probably one of the Cavs' better shooters, especially coming off the bench. And when you don't have Sam Merrill, only 10 points last night, but perfect from the floor. 4-4 from field goal, 2 of 2 from 3-point line, perfect from the free throw line. I think he's just one of the Cavs' better shooters. I would love to see more playing time. I know that they're probably not going to get that luxury like they did last year when they were blowing teams out and you could give guys a lot more minutes. But I would like to see a little more Tyrese Proctor minutes out there.
I agree with you, and I don't think it's a luxury thing. I think he has shown that he can be a contributor and deserves to play every game and at least get him in that 12 to 15 minute range per game. Kenny strikes me as the type of coach that takes a long time to warm up to younger players. You can see last year, you know, could Jaylon Tyson have performed not this level, but like at enough of a level to help this team if given a little bit more of a chance? And it took, you know, well into this year and just amazing performances by Jaylon Tyson to get this regular spot in the rotation that he has now. you could say the same thing about like Craig Porter Jr. That he's shown enough flashes to get a little bit more run over the 3 years that he's been in Cleveland, the last 2 with Kenny, and Kenny seems a little bit apprehensive. So like there's some coaches that are famous for this. Doc Rivers is one, just doesn't want to play young guys at all. Like he like wake me up when you're a 3rd year guy, basically, and I'll put you in the rotation. So I don't disagree. I think Tyrese Proctor has shown enough that he is worthy of getting 12 to 15 minutes a game and is going to help this team most nights if given that opportunity.
Make it done, Kenny. Come on.
All right. Well, 2 great games for us to talk about and get to highlights. And it's been, like I said, a really quiet but nice about 4 weeks here for the Cavs. The last 14 games, they really starting to move up the standings. They're now closer to the 2 seed than they are a play-in seed. I saw today. Were they only 2 games back from the 2 seed, maybe 2.5? They, but yeah, they're definitely seem like they're making some strides. And we can talk about these couple of upcoming games. So Monday night, they have the back half of a back-to-back against Orlando, this time in Cleveland. We just saw these 2 teams play. You know, I don't know. I haven't looked if any of the guys injured might be back for this game, whether that's, you know, on the Cavs, whether it's Hunter, Merrill. I think we all know Garland's not coming back quite yet. Or on the Magic side, Franz Wagner, he re-hurt the ankle that had him out for over a month and has missed the last 2 games for the Magic. I don't know if he could possibly recover in time to play in this game. But those injuries aside, I mean, for the most part, I'm like more of the same. Try and play the exact same way you did, because I think, you know, if they can play with some offense, Orlando wants to get you in a rock fight, and if they can play a disciplined, efficient offensive game, I think there's a matchup that serves them well.
I'd agree. I mean, don't fix if it ain't broke, right?
Yeah, that's right. The only other game we wanted to highlight, and it's a big one from Cavs fans' perspective. Wednesday nights, the Cavs host the Los Angeles Lakers, and more precisely, LeBron James. Possibly, I mean, we have no idea, so it's just speculation, but possibly his last time coming to Cleveland. There's rumors that he might be leaning towards retirement after this season. Those are also unsubstantiated and haven't come from him. But anytime LeBron comes back to Cleveland, it's obviously a really big deal. There's a reason ESPN picked up the game for Wednesday nights. The Lakers, talk about like surprisingly, their record is shocking this year because they are 27-17, but have a negative point differential. So they have kind of been a little bit voodoo magic with their results this year. But I don't know. Have you seen much LeBron or the Lakers to really have much opinion on them, Skylar?
They can win a close game. That's the thing. They have enough clutchness in them to win close games, but they can very easily get run off the floor. That's my assessment of the Lakers, and I can promise you that this is the last year that LeBron comes to Cleveland or visits Cleveland as a Laker, because that whole thing sounds dead.
Yeah. It certainly sounds like it's about to have run its course. So the Lakers, they are the definition of a big 3 team with Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and not much else. They're not getting much production out of those guys. Reeves has been hurt the last few weeks, and to my knowledge is not going to be coming back in time for this game on Wednesday. Luka has been incredibly incredible on offense. He's an all-star starter. He is one of the best scorers and distributors in the entire league, maybe in league history. And LeBron has been really good for a 41-year-old, much better than any other 41-year-old in NBA history, even if his numbers are finally starting to slip. I looked a couple days ago, and he was about at like 27-5, I think, something like that. But I actually think the Lakers are a great matchup for the Cavs, kind of with the fact that they're not very good defensively, and they are kind of, really their whole offense is focused on three, or in this case, probably only two guys. On paper, it seems like an easy matchup that would really favor the Cavs, but the Lakers have been kind of doing this all year. So I guess we'll find out.
It's crazy to say that his numbers are slipping as he's averaging 22, 6, and 6. Like, that's a crazy thing to say. That just tells you how good LeBron has been for so long.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean, personally, I'm looking forward to it. I still watch pretty decent amount of Lakers strictly for LeBron, because if I'm being honest, was a LeBron fan before I was a Cavs fan. I started watching and going to, LeBron games in high school, and then frankly became a Cavs fan when they drafted him 23, 24 years ago now. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this game, and I love that it's a Wednesday night, because it falls so that our next episode will be immediately following this game, so we'll get to give some live reactions and of hopefully a couple more Cavs wins. Anything else on the Cavs before we start to wrap up here, Skylar?
I'm just excited they're winning. I'm excited that they're climbing the standings. Let's keep quietly putting something together versus being the belle of the ball last year.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right. Well, with our Sundays, we wrap up our one nice thing. We said a lot of nice things on this episode already, but we always like to close the Sunday show saying one thing and putting one nice thing on the internet. So, Skylar, take the honors.
So, as we record this, we are in the middle of, I don't know, Snowmageddon, whatever you want to call it. Right now, we're averaging about a half inch of snow per hour. It's not supposed. It started snowing at midnight. It's not supposed to stop until 6 o'clock. So it's really starting to pile up out there, and getting out there and shoveling every couple of hours, so you're not shoveling a foot of snow off and anything like that. But looked out there, and one of our neighbors, he took the snowblower up and down the sidewalk of the entire block and both sides of the street. I mean, talk about a good guy, just getting out there and doing it because he's got the equipment and just being helpful and being a handy neighbor. I know I brag about my neighborhood pretty often, but it's so cool to just see people genuinely putting kindness out there just because they're able to.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I think part of me want to say there's not enough of that, but I think there's probably plenty of it that just doesn't get highlighted or noticed, because frankly, there's so many horrible things going on that sap up people's attention and dominate social media and everything. So that's a great thing to highlight. My thing for this week, I want to give a shout out to this organization that is a couple of neighborhoods over from me in the western suburbs of Chicago. It's called Music Makers Theater. It's a children's theater, and my daughter is very theatrical and has done some acting classes and really wants to step up into a true children's theater. And so yesterday I took her to see their latest production. They did Moana, all kids in kindergarten through fourth grade. And it was phenomenal. I mean, shout out to the people who run the theater, but mostly to the kids. Like the kids to have that much talent and discipline and confidence to get up on stage in front of a couple hundred people and do their thing. I was blown away, impressed by how professional and entertaining and all these things. I mean, the play ended up going like 45, 50 minutes, and for kids that young, I was thoroughly impressed with, like I said, the whole production. So shout out to everyone at the Music Maker Theater's team, and especially to those kids who were in Moana, because they absolutely killed it.
That's awesome. That's great that she's taking an interest in stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. With that, we will get out of here. As always, we thank you so much for listening. Please follow us on the social medias. Please subscribe wherever you get your audio podcast and or on YouTube. We will be back Wednesday night immediately following the Cavs game where they host LeBron James and the Lakers. So for that, for Skylar Webker, I am Kevin Lynch. Thanks for joining, and as always,
go Cavs.